What's up, Unheard Gems? Today we are joined by an amazing songstress called Chiara Young. She has a fantastic voice and is coming to us from Canada, one of our second or third Canadian artists on Unheard Gems. We're super excited to talk with her about her music career and her newest single, Fallout. So we're really excited to have you. How are you?
I'm really good, living the life, living the dream. Excited. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm really glad that your team reached out to us and told us about you, because I really love your sound.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, that means so much to me.
So then, sort of just for any of our listeners to get to know you a little bit more, if they haven't heard of you, can you just tell us about how you started out in music and what's been that evolution since you originally started out?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've always kind of done music, since I was a child. My parents bought me, a little, one of those toy drum kits. I'm not going to go that far back in time, but, that's literally where I started. But then, as a kid, I grew up, and my Uncle Josh, he actually kind of, took the reins and put me under his wing for music. He was a busker and kind of, just a musician that would do, bar nights or whatever, and he kind of taught me everything that I know today about music. He taught me how to play guitar. He was a huge inspiration in my life, and we used to play church basements together and random little shows, and he was the first time I ever played in front of people, and he's the first person I ever wrote a song with, and that sort of thing. And so he passed away when I was in high school. When I was in grade 9, and it really made me realize that I really need to do this full time. I really just want to make him proud. He was always the one person that I got excited about making proud. If I ever learned a new chord or whatever it may be, I was I can't wait to show my Uncle Josh. You know what I mean? So his passing really kind of drove me to be I need to do this, not only for myself, but for him. So that was a huge thing for me. And from there, all throughout high school, I was, writing songs on my own. And I actually ended up recording my first song ever in grade 10, which was pretty crazy. And they would actually, play it over the announcements, before the Canadian National Anthem, which I thought was hilarious, but also super embarrassing. So, that's kind of, how I, grew up in high school, doing music. And then all of grade 12, I was in a touring band across Ontario. I never, was in school to finish it, but I did graduate on the road. And then I just kind of, fell into it from there and ended up recording my first EP after grade 12 called They Must Be Dreaming. It was 5 songs, and that did wonders for me. Just kind of, I'm going through this so quickly. And then after that, I joined Sean Desmond's band as a session musician, which was such a cool experience. I was, playing Air Canada Centre, well, I guess Scotiabank Arena now, with crazy artists Simple Plan, Carly Rae Jepsen, Cody Simpson, Justin Bieber, Avril Lavigne, and it really drove me to be okay, this is cool, but I need to do this for myself. So that kind of brought me here, and working on my songwriting, and I spent years writing and kind of preparing for what we have now, which is Fallout and my EP that's gonna come out at some point in 2019, and my new single, which is coming out in October. So yeah, it's been a long road of music for me, for sure,
but it's definitely been paying off thus far. So
well, thank you.
And then sort of just building off of that, I always like to ask, what would your elevator pitch be for yourself as an artist? Genre, style, who all around are you as an artist?
Who am I as an artist? As in, who would I compare myself to?
What would be your sales pitch for yourself?
My sales pitch. Oh, that's a toughie. My sales pitch. Well, for me, I really like being as authentic as possible with my music. So my music basically, is a reflection of my everyday. So, my business pitch isn't really a business pitch. It's just, I am, my own business card, It's just, I am my authentic self, and I reflect that in my music. But, my music's very like catchy, but like realistic lyrics that like are relatable, you know, that like, because I like to try to like reach out to people and be like a relatable artist, because I like wish I had that when I was growing up type thing. So I want to be that artist for people, you know, like I want to be like, I have dreams of like having my music be like very like influential, but poppy and catchy and something that people can dance to and like feel good about when they listen to. So yeah, I guess that's not really a pitch, but that's why I was an artist.
For sure.
Like I'm just like kind of like nerdy, and like the music's kind of nerdy, but like also just like very relatable and fun, and yeah. I don't know.
For sure. And so sort of like building off that that authenticity that you bring to your music. So what, it's obviously your day-to-day life, but any more on the inspiration for your music?
The inspiration for my music, yeah, so like a big one is obviously, you know, my Uncle Josh. But as like I just get so inspired by what other artists are doing these days, and I get inspired by like what's going on in my life every day. So it's kind of like a mix of inspiration, you know, like I really love the fact that there's so many really cool female artists, you know, kind of coming out of the woodwork these days, and that's been super inspiring for me, you know, like hearing like artists like Jessie Reyez and I love Dua Lipa, and I love Alessia Cara, you know, like all these like real genuine artists, and I just think that that's so cool, and it's super inspiring. And yeah, I don't know, it's just yeah, I'm just so inspired by a little bit of everything, and I kind of bring all that into my music for sure.
For sure. And then this is more delving into your process just a little bit. How would you describe like your process, like just in your step-by-step? How do you write your song every time, or does it change depending on the song it is, depending on your experience?
Yeah, it's funny. It's so weird because I do have so many different processes. Like, you know, some people have like, oh, this is the certain way that I do things. But for me, it's like sometimes I'll like start off with a title, and that title can inspire lyrics from there, and then will inspire melodies. Or, you know, sometimes it's me, you know, sitting at 3 a.m., you know, at my machine, like starting with a beat and then like coming up with lyrics. You know, so I'm kind of all over the map with that. But I'd say like mostly I kind of start with a melody, or, you know, I'll start with an instrumental or some sort of loop, and then, you know, I kind of like work with lyrics from there and work with melodies and then perfect the lyrics and then kind of just go from there. So yeah.
And then now let's move on to your newest single, Fallout. I really love the song, and I was wondering if you could give us a bit of a look into the inspiration and the story behind that song, and then also what it was like recording it.
Creating my what, sorry?
Like creating and recording it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so Fallout is kind of like, how do I describe Fallout? It's about heartbreak for sure. You know, it's kind of like the fallout of a relationship. It's the fallout of like modern dating and the struggles of modern dating, you know, which is something I definitely struggle with, and I know that a lot of people out there struggle with, you know. So it's kind of like, it's me in my most vulnerable state, you know, like the lyrics start out with like, you watched my fallout, you watched me make a fool of myself, like just kind of like falling for you, and then just like it all falling apart, you know. So yeah, that's kind of like, that's like a general, you know, theme of the song. As for creating it, I had a really great experience creating it. You know, the team that I work with are absolutely incredible. You know, we started with a melody, and then we kind of just got into these like deep lyrics with that, and you know, the production just was like very strong and not too bubblegum. It was just like just enough of like an edgy feel, but like that catchiness that we added to it, you know, but still like a very like, again, relatable message, which is like was really important to me with this song. Yeah, I just had a really good time, you know, recording it and being in the studio recording vocals for it. And, you know, I had my vocal coach come in, and like, her name's Lorraine Lawson, and she just like always gets the best takes out of me to like really get that strength out of the lyrics into my voice performance. So yeah, it was just an overall really, really cool experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and also just this one, I realized this connection now recently. There's another artist I've been listening to, Clover The Girl, and I feel like you guys, well, not sounding exactly the same or very similar at all. It's, you both have this sort of pop, but you still have that edge to it too, which I really appreciate in pop music right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I kind of like, I like having that edginess, you know, like I don't want to be like a Britney Spears, you know. Yeah. I want to, again, it's just like that edge is almost like the authenticity for me.
Yeah.
Because I am so, like, rough around the edges. Like, I'm not, I don't know, like, I'm not, like, this girly girl. I'm just kind of, like, this, like, punk rocker that's, like, playing pop music, but I listen to Blink-182 too. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure. And so, earlier you were saying you have a song coming out in October, and you also mentioned working on an EP probably coming out 2019. Mm-hmm. Anything you're really looking forward to about that, and what can you tell us about it?
So I can't say much about the EP, but I'm really looking forward to, releasing the EP eventually. But I'm specifically looking forward to this next single called Not For You. It is more on the poppy side, but it's just, like, probably the catchiest song I've ever written. And it's kind of, like, about, like, strength and just being like, no, like, I'm not your property. Like, kind of like, F you. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. Like, it's an important song to me because I've just, like, it's a growth song for me because I've always kind of, like, struggled with, feeling like I'm not worth it, but, like, now I'm just like, no, I'm not for you. Like, screw you. It's that one. It's one of those songs, yeah. Like, one of those, like, like, screw you songs, yeah. But, like, with a poppy edge that, like, you can dance to and have fun too, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. That's going to be a fun one to sing in the car, I'm sure. And then, I know you're not going to say too much about the EP, but any favorite memories from writing any of the songs on it so far?
Ooh, favorite memories. I mean, the whole experience of the EP, like, from start to finish has been unreal. I didn't actually think that this EP was gonna come about, which is funny because I had taken quite a break from music and I was just writing and seeing where things went. And my best friend and producer, Brendan Pachacek, he's in a metal band, and he decided to, like, kind of, like, take on the project, and he kind of was just like, no, let's do this. And he really inspired me, to do this EP, and that's kind of, like, how it all started. And then I was really able to, release myself into this EP. So yeah, it's just, working with my best friends, Connor Claflin, Chris LaRocca, and, all these people that I've had on my team. It's just been such a good vibe and such a positive vibe. And it's really, like, brought the best of myself as an artist out into my music. And I've never felt like that before. So it's been really refreshing and cool. Yeah, a really cool experience.
That's really cool. And then I always like to ask this. I ask this in every Unheard Gems interview because I think it's really important we all are aware of all the cool artists out there. If you were to recommend another artist you think deserves more recognition in the music industry or is an unheard gem, who would you recommend?
An unheard gem. Oh, jeez. I listen to a lot of pop music. So I feel like no one's really, like, an unheard gem to me. Oh, jeez. You got me to ask, like, on the spot. Ooh, that's a really tough question. Because, like, there's so many good artists out there right now that are, like, absolutely killing it. Unheard gem. I'd say Jack Kelly. Jack Kelly, she kind of has, like, a jazzy thing to her voice. She's actually working with one of the other producers that works in the studio where we're recording my stuff. And she is just, like, absolutely killing it. Like, her melodies are so strong. It's, like, catchy pop stuff, but again, like, that edgy vibe, and, like, another just really strong female artist, which I think is really cool. So yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to, those listening, go check out Jack Kelly for sure. She's definitely an unheard gem that everyone needs to hear.
And then just a last question for everyone listening. Where can they find you in your music?
So you can find me anywhere. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, you can find me on Apple Music, Facebook, Instagram, all the things, all the socials, yeah. I'm kind of just littered all over the internet.
Well, awesome. It was really great getting the chance to talk to you on Unheard Gems, so I really can't wait to hear your new single, and I've really been loving Fallout, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me and chatting with me today. It's been really cool.